Cultura em Revista está no ar, o programa 17. Olá a todos aqui em Portugal, aí no Brasil e espero eu que no resto do mundo. Hoje é uma edição um bocadinho diferente, vai ser uma edição um pouco bilingue, porque o nosso convidado não fala português. Eu vou ter comigo, e tenho aqui comigo, uma das estrelas do espetáculo Woodstock Era, que irá ter a sua estreia mundial no dia 16 de março, no Coliseu do Porto, e quem não conhece Creedence Clearwater Revival, tenho comigo hoje Dan McGuinness, que é o atual vocalista de Creedence Revisited, uma das bandas que marcou a edição do Woodstock em 1969. So, welcome, Dan. Thank you so much. It's such a great pleasure to have you here with me, with us, here in Portugal, in Brazil, in Chicago, where you are, I hope, all around the world. Then, when I hear, at least I'll speak for myself, I was born in the 80s. So when I heard the word Woodstock, at least for me, I imagine something huge. And I believe that we think about love and peace and revolutionary ideas. We think about big names in music, ideologies, freedom, but it's so much more than that. What is the meaning for you?
Well, I was born not long before you, but you know, the significance and importance of that Woodstock concert that Creedence Clearwater Revival and others played still lives on in America today. It's still, you know, some consider it the biggest music festival or the most important or most popular music festival ever, which is remarkable. But I mean, it's the most significant because of the era. The bands that played, obviously, you know, Jimi Hendrix and you know all those great bands that will be celebrated in Porto next week. It still rings true in America as if it just happened, you know. So me loving, you know, CCR and the importance of their appearance and being one of the biggest bands, if not the biggest band in the world at that time in 1969. It's still such a huge topic of conversation in America today. So that's really cool.
So before going a little bit further on the show, and we're going to talk about that. But first of all, for people who don't know who Dan McGuinness is, so singer, songwriter, producer, radio broadcaster, who is Dan McGuinness?
That's it in a nutshell. I'm somebody that I love entertainment, whether it's music, acting, or radio, audience, you know, stuff. I just love performing. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity and the privilege to do it. I love singing. You know, there's nothing more therapeutic in life than singing, in my opinion, and I just love it. So I'm very grateful for that. So
if you have a good voice, because I love singing, but I don't have a nice voice, so I can't sing.
Well,
so in your case, yes, you have a beautiful voice.
Well,
so you have such a great presence, and I want to tell people that don't know who you are to go to search for your site, your page, things that you have on YouTube. How can we say you're more about blues, rock, what kind of music? Because you're going to be here on the 16th, and you are. And I will ask you also, how did that happen? Creedence Clearwater Revival, now revisited. How did you enter the band? But you have a solo career, and you keep singing. I believe that's what you are doing last week and this week, and you are singing all around in so many places. So, what kind of music? What's your soul? What do you have inside?
I think I got all that. I consider myself first and foremost a singer-songwriter. You know, if you want to speak about genres, you know, style of music, folk, Americana. We use that word here in the States, Americana. You know, I love rock and roll, classic rock, obviously, the Creedence songs and the Doors and Jimi Hendrix and other stuff too. As far as getting hooked up with Creedence Clearwater Revisited, I mean, it really, you know, is and was a dream come true. You know, the math, you know, you look at CCR starting in the 60s and playing Woodstock. And I remember back in 1996, when Creedence Clearwater Revisited just started, I didn't know the history of the band. I didn't know what happened to John Fogerty. I didn't know what happened to Tom Fogerty. I just saw that Doug and Stu were there and they had a new singer, John Tristeo. And I just thought to myself, I was very young, and I just said, well, if they can get on stage and sing with this guy, what if something were to happen to him? You know, what if Johnny couldn't do it anymore? And so I just kind of, throughout the years later, singing and playing guitar, just started. I loved the Creedence music at that time anyway. So when I saw them live and show, and I'm looking, I'm like, you know, Doug and Stu, I'm like, you know, the song. I just said, well, you know, I was only 17 or 18 years old at the time. I hadn't even started playing guitar yet. So I started learning guitar, and in my early 20s, I started emailing Stu Cook and just kind of feeling it out, like, hey, you know, if you ever need a singer, let me know. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. Or would he ever respond to me? And one day he did, thank goodness. And we started communicating. And in 2008, I got a phone call from Stu to sub. Johnny, the singer, was sick. And they flew me to Houston like that. And I did a show with Doug and Stu and Steve Gunner, you know, and it was in the United States, we say, you know, a deer in headlights. We were like shocked, you know, that no rehearsal, you know, they knew I knew the songs. So anyway, it was just kind of a long communication process, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. And then one day you're on stage. And eventually, years later, Johnny got sick and had to retire. And in 2016, they, you know, hired me full time. So I'm very grateful for that.
So when you look back now, it's really a dream come true.
It really is, you know. It is my favorite band. I have a couple favorite bands. We all do, you know, different styles of music. And I've always loved these songs. I've always treated them and respected them as my own, as everybody singing songs should do. But they're just fun. They internally, it just, you know, pun intended, strikes a chord with me. It feels good singing them. I love singing them. I love being, you know, a positive ambassador for the Creedence brand, you know, the catalog in general. I love to represent the music very well, and I'm very grateful that I'm coming to Porto to do that. And thanks to Rafa and everybody there for that.
So let's talk a little bit more now about the show. So Portugal will be opening the tour. It's the first show. Why here? Let us know.
I mean, I met Rafa in Brazil several years back before COVID, obviously. And he's a great friend and a great performer, a great singer. I'm really looking forward to playing with him. Porto, for the folks living there, are very lucky to have him and Creedence Forever and Beatles Forever. We met at one of our Creedence Clearwater Revisited shows in Sao Paulo, I believe. And we stayed in touch. He came to visit me in Chicago last year. And then just recently, maybe a couple months ago, he reached out asking, could I come and perform this Woodstock show that he's putting together and everybody at the Coliseum. And I was thrilled. So I'm very happy to very grateful for the invitation.
And after that, there's going to be, I believe, around 22 stages, Europe, United States, South America. So it's pretty much a little bit around the world.
Well, I'd love to be a part of that. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah.
It's a show for all ages, all generations, because we were not even born on the first Woodstock. But do you believe that now we're going to have on the show, you're going to see people that are remembering their time, but also young people, people that discovered the band and they want to hear, they go with their parents or they go alone because they enjoy the music?
Yeah, it's going to be a great experience for people, you know, especially younger generations. I can only speak for, you know, performing the Creedence music for really over the last, you know, 20 years, but with Doug and Stu specifically, you know, the last, you know, decade or more of multiple generations. You know, I mean, you have people in their 80s singing along with you, which is such a great experience when you're on stage singing and you see people, you know, mouthing back to you. And then there's young kids in the audience celebrating with their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever. So, I mean, you see a wide range of people at these shows, and the music just covers, you know, it covers the whole world. I mean, a lot of this music originated, of course, in the United States, but it's celebrated all over the world. And when you create something like that and it lives on forever, I mean, you know, you did good, whoever, you know. So in John Fogerty, Tom Fogerty, Stu Cook, Doug Clifford, they really created something special, and I'm very grateful to be able to continue and celebrate the music. That's what Kurt Griffey and I are doing with our band Revisiting Creedence, is celebrating the music.
And being the lead vocal in a band like you were saying, and I was saying before that we were not even born when it was created. It's quite magic after all these years.
It really is. I mean, you know, because they've stood the test of time. You know, they've been around for 50 plus years, and they're going to be around for 500 years. And I'm very grateful to have, you know, a piece of that history and be a part of that, to sing the songs, because singing, you know, these songs, especially John Fogerty, you know, is one of the greatest singers of all time, especially in rock and roll. And, you know, he wrote and the band created some of the greatest songs ever, and they are an absolute joy to play them every night or wherever, ever.
All those iconic songs, did you find a way of bringing them to the modern times, or you perform like the way we are used to know the songs, or there's something new about that?
Yeah, I mean, these songs especially, and of course Beatles songs and other bands, but like the Beatles are one of those bands where you don't touch the song. You play the song exactly how it is. Creedence, in my mind, is very similar, where you can, you know, I play the songs and sing the songs, you know, the way they should be sung, but sometimes you add your own little inflections vocally. They've been created so perfectly that there's not much room to dabble, like where I you know, I wouldn't add words to it, or I wouldn't take words away, or, you know, a guitar player has to play certain parts to keep the integrity of how great that song is. So that's half the battle, is that everybody knows the song. You just got to get up there and not disrespect it. And I love that we get up on stage and we play the songs the right way, the way that people know the song. You don't want to change something that's been phenomenal forever. So that's the fun part.
Yeah. It's going to be your first time playing in Portugal, I believe.
Yes, I can't wait.
For people going to... Yes.
I have something. If I forgive my, estou muito entusiasmado por vir a Porto.
Oh, wait, that's nice.
Really? No. I don't know much Portuguese, sorry.
But it's nice to hear you speak in Portuguese, and thank you for trying, and thank you for that. What can people expect, people that are going to the Coliseum to see the show, what can people expect from Woodstock era?
Well, I mean, knowing Hafa is involved with it and behind it with the band, it's going to be a great show. I'm very excited to play with them. I'm only a small part of it, obviously. But you're going to hear, you know, a bunch of great classic Creedence songs and songs from all the other artists that are involved, you know, catalogs of Janis and The Doors and all that stuff. So it's a beautiful looking venue. I can't wait to be there. When you play in a place like the Coliseum, it just kind of, you always want to give your best, right? You always show up and you're like, I'm going to sing better than I ever have in my life. And then you get to a beautiful stage like that. It just perks you up even more. So the fans coming can expect just a powerful, you know, fun. You're going to have fun and you're going to sing along all night. So rest your throat. It's just going to be a great night. I really can't wait.
The only thing that I'm sad is that you're not coming, at least for now, for Lisbon, or even a little bit more down to the south, to the Algarve, where we are. But who knows? In the future, you have any plans of having Portugal on your list for the next couple of years? Who knows? Even if you're in your solo career.
Yeah, I am planning. I have show to come back, but in Spain, in Murcia, Spain, at the end of May. But I would love to obviously set stuff up to come back to Porto. Especially people here in America are very aware of Porto and Portugal, of course. But the city of Porto, I'm very excited to come visit. I've heard it's beautiful and the food and everything. So. I'm very excited. It's always fun going somewhere new for the first time.
And about you and your plans for the future, what can we expect? What are you doing? What are you after now? This big show, this great show. But what can we expect from then?
Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, we have a band called Revisiting Creedence, and when Creedence Clearwater Revisited retired from touring because of COVID. The rest of us launched, Kurt Griffey and myself put together a new band, Revisiting Creedence, and we're grateful to have the blessing of Stu Cook and Doug Cosmo Clifford, as well as Trish Fogarty, Tom's widow. And, you know, we're hoping to just continue celebrating the music worldwide. And we're very excited about that. So we've been touring the United States. Next month in April, we go to Mexico City. So we're excited for that. The fans down there love the music as well. So, and I hope we come to Portugal at some point.
Mm-hmm. If people are hearing this show today, and who knows if you will receive more invitations to come back here, it would be really nice to have you here. In Porto, in Lisbon, in Algarve, in the south. Anywhere else. It's not a big country, but it's a nice one, and I believe that we would like to see you here more times.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I love traveling, and I'm an EU citizen as well. I have a passport in Ireland, so my father is from Dublin. So being somewhat of a part European citizen, I want to travel more and more. So
then. Thank you so much again for having me here.
Thank you for having me.
Great privilege now for me and for everyone that is watching the show. If you could sing or play whatever you want, something for us. So I don't know if it's the.
Oh, well. Obrigado.
You have the.
Oh, look at this. Where'd this come from? Oh, wow. Okay, well, we'll see. twigs of lightning. I see bad times today. Don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. I hear hurricanes are blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I feel rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of a raging moon. Well, don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. I hope you got your things together. Hope you are quite prepared to die. Looks like we're in for nasty weather. One eye is taken for an eye. Well, don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bathroom on the right. Well, don't come around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the right.
Okay. Then thank you so much. So much. Obrigada. Again, it was a great privilege for me to have you here and playing and singing. So thank you so much again. I wish all the best for you, all the best for the show, and I hope that one day, next time, we can speak in person and I can watch you playing. I was always a huge fan of the band, and I'm a big fan of you now also. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Obrigado.
Thank you. Thank you also, and obrigada a todos os que assistem aqui connosco através da ConecTV, aqui em Portugal e no Brasil, com o Dan em Chicago. Volto a dizer, espero que um pouco por todo o mundo. O espetáculo Toquera vai ser apresentado, vai ter estreia no dia 16 de março no Coliseu do Porto. Até lá nós vamos acompanhando, vamos trazendo mais novidades, mais notícias aqui. Eu sou a Fátima Caixão e este foi o Cultura em Revista. Muito obrigada mais uma vez.